Hi, I'm Alexa,
Hi, I'm Ava.
and welcome to Paddock Perspective.
So today we will be talking about we're going to be talking about ourselves and our teams, our drivers, and we're going to be debriefing on our amazing experience in Montreal.
Oh, it's such a dream.
I know, right? And then we'll be going through the driver markets and our predictions, and yeah, so let's get into it.
All right, so first of all, I'm gonna just let's start with our just like our general rundown of like ourselves. I'm Alexa. I'm 19. If you know me already, you might know me from my Life with Alexa Jean social media. I have a YouTube channel. I love F1, reading, Taylor Swift, like all. I'm the stereotypical 19-year-old girl who loves F1 and reading, basically.
Right? I'm Ava. And same thing here. I'm not a big Taylor Swiftie, but Alexa don't care me for that. I'm 19. I don't really have a big following on social media, so I'm not like Alexa, but I do love Ferrari and I do like my um all my edits and my strategy stuff online. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
I
Um
mean, it's the first episode.
oh yeah, but I also like spending tons of money on Sephora and when I don't need it. So
Oh yeah,
that's
absolutely.
right. I'm from the West Coast and Alexa is from the East Coast, so we got both perspectives, which doesn't actually matter
Exactly.
to F1, but
3 hour
right.
time difference.
Yeah, our time difference, we are 3 hours ahead of each other.
All right, so let's start with our favorite teams. Ava, what are your favorite teams slash favorite team?
Okay, so I'm going Ferrari, McLaren, and Williams. And please don't get mad at me that I like three of them. They are all the classic teams, and you have to love them. If you like Ferrari, you have to like McLaren, and you have to like Williams.
I, as well, am a Ferrari, McLaren, Williams girl. Was a strictly Ferrari girl until Daniel Ricciardo had to leave.
Yep.
I got kind of angry at Zach Brown for that, but that was my first year. Like I was really fully into F1.
Yeah.
So like I get it was a strategic move, but I'm still heartbroken over that. So then I added
2022, right?
Ferrari and yeah,
20,
2022.
yeah. Yeah.
So then I added Ferrari and Williams into my favorite teams because I needed to get over that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was so hard on all of us. It was
It really was.
I think like the hardest for me was him leaving Red Bull. And I was like, I knew that that was not a good idea. And I was watching when I was younger and I was like, that's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. And it didn't pan out as a good idea. So
It really wasn't.
no, but yeah. And our favorite drivers are just the drivers that are on the teams. Yeah.
All right. So personally, my favorite driver pre Logan Sargent on the paddock, well, on the grid, was Danny and Lando. And then of course our American who doesn't know what a kilometer is,
Nope,
Logan
no.
Sargent.
There we go. Our bestie. The
Oh yeah.
girl, guy who Alexa got to meet.
Like literally, okay, ignore how bad my hair will look after this. He's I have my hat sign and then right next to me, I literally kept this with me. This little thing
Oh,
that we got at the Williams pop-up,
yeah.
and
Oh
then
my God,
the
I'm gonna be
driver card.
nine. Oh my
Yeah, that was
God.
when I met him.
Girl.
I was literally like, "Oh my God, no, I'm sorry. Like, if this is too many things to sign, let me know. Like, you can totally say no." He
Like,
was like,
I'm sorry, you multimillionaire. I'm sorry that you have to sign so many things.
"It's because like he literally the girl when we were doing the meet and greet, but basically, the girl who was doing the like who was in charge of the meet and greet,
Was it a
basically, she was
blonde
like,
girl?
yeah, I think so."
Yeah, yeah.
She was like, "Oh, is it okay with you guys if Logan takes 5 minutes? Because just to like eat something and drink water, he's just a bit tired and like jet lag." So that's why I felt so bad of making him like sign three things. I was like, he's exhausted.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
know, but
no,
he's a young driver. He's younger than
I
all the
know.
other ones, so like he's not used to it. Like Albon was, everybody else is completely fine with the jet lag. They don't care anymore. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, a 12-hour difference? Yeah, no, I'm fine. So I think that's like one thing about him, and I think probably Oscar as well. Like this,
Oh yeah.
but yeah.
All right. And then you, who are your favorite drivers?
So my favorite all time is Ayrton Senna, but he's not driving anymore. RIP. I'm sorry. Um, but Carlos Sainz. Where is it?
Represent.
Carlos science, but then my second favorite's Lando. Kind of them two are my top two, and then
Oh yeah,
Alex, obviously. And
duh.
my signature came off of my arm, but I'm getting it tatted next week. So
Because if you guys didn't know, I won when I went to the Montreal when we went to the Montreal event. I won the Logan meet and greet, and then Ava met Alex.
yeah, so we both met both of them, but we didn't meet James, which is a little sad, but you know what? It's fine. We met the multimillionaires. It's
We
fine.
did.
We had our fangirly experience,
It really
and
was.
we always will appreciate it. Yeah.
That weekend was so crazy.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. And yeah, now we can get on to now Montreal. Oh my gosh.
So let's start off with how we met,
Yeah.
because we've known each other for like a week and a half now.
Yeah.
So basically, I went to the Williams event with my friends after school, and I was like, oh, like I'll go to this event. And but then I was like, it was around noon, and my friends were both like, we've been here for an hour and a half, and we don't want to wait for 2 hours. One of them likes F1, which had to work in the afternoon, and the other one doesn't really like F1. So they're like, we're gonna go, but like, are you sure you're good to stay alone? I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Don't worry. Like, I know myself. I'll make friends.
It's
And
like
then
not, not like 5 years old, so
I sat on a bench and I'm eating my protein bar because I was starving. And who do I see? I see a girl with a McLaren shirt, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I love your shirt."
yeah, my McLaren Hollister shirt that was like $35, but we love
Yeah.
it.
And
And then
then
okay,
go
you want to
ahead.
go? You want to keep going on the
No, you
story?
can go so
Okay,
that we
so
can like
then
switch.
okay, so we started talking. So I was like, so I left my dad. My dad was still at the hotel trying to talk about some tickets to some guy. And well, that guy also knew Lando Norris back in high school, I believe, or something like that. I forget what it was. But yeah, so then we were just talking and whatnot, and I was like, what the heck are we like doing? Like, what is this whole thing? Like, and we pull out the Williams app. She shows me around of what these badges are. And you had was it a QR code, or it was like a
It was
QR
kind of like an
code?
Apple Pay thing,
Yeah, it was like the Apple Pay, like that weird, like, tappy thingy.
scamming.
So we went around. And then she's like, oh yeah, you can win like the Alex Albon meet and greet. And so we tap on the last one, and then we move out of the way. So because there's so many people. And literally, literally, I like look down, it says congratulations, and I don't think about it that much. And I look back at Alexa, 2 seconds later, I look down and I'm like, Shiza, like I won. And so, yeah. And then I'm like, look at my luck. And so I go upstairs and, yada, yada, I meet him. And then what is it? What did we do after? We go walk around. We walked
Yeah,
around.
we went to the Hope Renfrew to see the McLaren cars.
Yeah, which were really pretty. They were really
Went to a few
pretty.
of the stores that were like
Yeah.
F1 merch.
And then, because I'm such a lucky person, we have to go back. And
Yeah.
then what
Wait,
happened?
before that, actually, I think right after your meet and greet, there was a there was what people didn't know is that there was a rumor going around that the first 5 people who scanned the thing, because there's 10 people per meet and greet,
Yeah.
the first 5 people who scanned the thing got it, and then the rest of the 5 were randomized.
Yes.
So then me and these people, we had been waiting there for almost an hour. And then we go and we make a line, and we basically like we're waiting for them to switch out to the Logan thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do, my Wi-Fi isn't working, okay? I'm able to scan it, but then it's not loading, it's not loading, it's not loading, and all of a sudden it loads and it says, "Congratulations, you're a winner."
Oh, that was before we went to the mall. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Yes. She was like standing in line, and I was so worried because she had my bag and whatnot. And I was like, Alexa, where the go?
I was
And
so stressed that you think that I had like left with your bag, but I was just like I kept looking around. I
no, I
was like,
didn't think
"Where
you
is
left with
she?"
my bag. I was like, you need, I was like thinking in my mind, as I like left Alex, I'm like, oh my God, Alex. And I was like, Alexa better be in line for that Logan thing.
Oh yeah,
Alexa better be in line.
it was. I
And
literally kept looking back just to make sure that you didn't like leave thinking I left with your bag, and I kept checking my texts.
yeah, no, but oh my gosh, it was such a great experience. That was the best. I hats off to like Williams team and their
Oh my
like
God,
management.
such
Like
a great
I think
event.
every team should probably do that. It was such like a good like experience. Even if you didn't win, you still get to like stand there, you still get to be like 10 feet away from the drivers.
Oh yeah.
Like
And then something else happened while I was at the event.
what?
I remember the girl I met. So yeah, basically at the event, I met this girl. She's so sweet. I've been following her on social media for years, but I won't say her
Mhm.
name just to like keep her privacy and everything, just in case she doesn't want people to know. But I meet her there and I'm like, oh my God, are you this person? She's like, yeah, oh, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. She said, oh, you're going to the race this weekend? I'm like, no, I don't have any tickets, like, and it's so expensive. And then she's like, do you want to go on Friday? And I'm
Mhm.
like, absolutely, I do. So she gave me her ticket. She was at turn one,
Mhm.
which was
Like
insane. Her tickets were amazing. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life. So then I go
yeah.
to Ava and I'm like, Ava, I'm going on Friday.
I was flipping out. I was like, that's so
I
exciting.
skipped class for that, literally.
Yeah.
I wrote to
Like
my email. I'm like, hey, I wrote to my teacher. I was like, hey, this girl just gave me her tickets for Friday. I have to go. Like, he knew I was an F1 fan. I was like, I'm sorry that I'm missing class, but I literally cannot say no to this opportunity.
yeah. Don't even say no to your teacher or do not even email. Just don't even go.
Literally.
Like she'll totally understand. She'll understand.
Oh, yeah, no, that was so amazing.
And
And
then what
yeah,
happened on Sunday?
oh, Saturday
It was
evening.
Saturday? I thought it was
Yeah,
Saturday. It's Sunday.
no, basically, I'll tell the whole story.
Okay.
Saturday evening, the girl sends, but like I was about to go to bed. Like
Mhm.
literally 5 minutes before I go to bed, I check my text, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna write to the girl, hey, like literally, let me like buy you dinner, send you money for dinner, or something, or like at least like buy you some coffee or whatever, just to
Yeah,
say
because
thank
like the
you
tickets were like
for the
seven
ticket.
hundred
And then she's like,
dollars.
oh my God, no, it's my pleasure, but wait, I can't go tomorrow. Do you want to go to the race day? Because I didn't go on Saturday. I like chilled at home, and I start jumping up and down. I go to my mom like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So then I pack my bags really quickly, like literally within 10 to 15 minutes, I was ready to go to bed. I was like, I need to sleep now because I need to wake up so early.
Yeah.
So I wake up
And
early.
when we tell you this, we have to wake up so early to get
It's insane.
on buses and to be able to wait in line. The lines were like
Insane.
crazy. Okay, keep going though. Like,
So the next day, I wake up and like I gave myself just enough time because I was also exhausted. And the next day, I had a really early class, like an early morning class. So like I was trying to make sure that I didn't miss too much sleep. So
mhm.
I'm literally like packing everything. I'm out the door, and then I realized, oh my God, wait, I need to let Ava know.
Yeah,
So then I try to send a voice memo. Worst cellular connection ever.
yeah.
I was so disappointed though that like I it didn't send.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I don't know when did it send? It sent like
Like
so while we were
basically
there, and I
what
was like,
happens
girl,
is like I have bad cellular connection for like voice memos, but in my head she's seen it, but like she's not responding to like she's not saying
no,
anything.
it was at like, oh, girl, it was at like,
Basically, yeah, what happened is I was so confused on why she wasn't answering. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I get home that night, I'm like, so weird. Like Ava hasn't said anything about me going that day. I check my texts. I see that it says message failed to send,
yeah, it
not
was at
failed
like
to
six.
send.
It was like 6:13. It sent, and it was like, so I just realized that it didn't send, and I'm like,
So bad.
girl, girl,
But yeah, no, that was the most insane voice memo I've ever sent.
yeah. And she got good seats, guys. She got good
Wait,
seats. Turn one.
let me show you. It was like turn one, second row.
Yeah, that's so good.
I don't know. The girl is literally the sweetest.
Yeah, no, like there was a lot of girls at the F1, like the Williams thing. They were all very, very sweet. And they all of
This was
the, oh my gosh, it was just like, look at that. It's like
this
the turn that's right there. And if they crash, you can see it. Like,
Oh my God. It was where all the drivers were passing right through it when like it was They were passing right through it when they were like missing the turn because it was like raining outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. Oh my God, that was insane.
Oh my gosh.
Just in general, the whole weekend.
I know. Okay, so guys, like literally I was so scared because I'm getting on a flight for 5 hours to Montreal for an F1 race. And I'm like, I am so scared that it's gonna be a
Oh yeah.
poop race. Like I was so scared. And it did not disappoint. Montreal, you did not
No.
disappoint.
Maybe
Best
not in the
race
best
I
way
have
though,
seen.
as a Ferrari Williams girl.
It's
And oh my God,
sad,
I forgot to tell you this. My mom is becoming a Williams girl.
girl. That's
My
good.
mom is
Good.
getting into like, because basically she was like, oh my God, poor Logan, because she was watching it from home.
Oh,
And then I told her the whole Logan story, and now she loves Logan.
yeah, it's so sad, guys. Like
They
we
set him
haven't,
up for failure.
yeah. And they need to upgrade his car. Like that's
They
not
do.
like, and also like my favorite driver hits my third favorite driver, and both of them DNF. Ugh.
Well, as a Lando girl,
But as a little girl, that was
the moment when he overtook Max
I
and
was
like George,
screaming. I was screaming. My voice cracked. I stood
me
up.
too.
Everybody was looking around at me, and I was like you
Everyone stood up in
all.
my section. Everyone stood up, screamed, and then as soon as Max came back,
I'm
literally,
like,
I was the person who screamed the loudest. I screamed the biggest ah
I
in my
know.
life.
I was like everybody in my section. A lot of people in my section were like Hamilton. They're huge, toxic
Yeah,
LA fans, and then Max Verstappen fans. And everybody's like, yeah. And I'm like, I get up. I'm like,
I know. There's a lot of no like McLaren fans in my section,
that was so good. That's so good. We didn't have
and
it
so
that
many.
many.
And talking about this weekend, so many people had a like 24-hour Le Mans hat for some reason. Like I saw 15 people in that section with those hats, and I was like,
Oh, wow. Well, that's crazy.
yeah,
But I wish I could go to Le Mans. I really badly want to.
1 year.
I had so many Haas fans in my.
Oh my God, I saw like 5 Williams fans the entire weekend. I was so disappointed.
I know but I saw like 100 plus Haas fans, and I'm like, where the heck are you coming from?
I know, or like the Alpine fans. I was like, never
Oh, I
seen
was
you
like,
guys in
you like
public.
Gasly? You like Gasly? Wow. Sorry, guys. We have our opinions, but I was just so it's so surprising to me. Like, you guys, those teams are not the classic teams. Williams is a classic team. Williams won races. Williams won
Villeneuve.
championships. But there was only like a few Williams, but there was so many like Alpine and all this. But you don't
I
support the
believe in the Williams resurgence. It will happen.
what?
The Williams resurgence, like the revival of Williams as a top team.
Oh God, like I it's just so funny. I think they just need more money. That's the only thing. Like if you look at the
Yeah.
stats of how much they're paying for off of their cars and whatnot, they're paying off like I think they paid 2 million. And all the other ones, there was a huge gap. There's a huge gap between like
Oh my gosh.
who's it next? I don't know who was it next. I think it's Steak next, but
Yeah.
it's like a $500,000 like gap between the two of them. Like
Hmm.
it's the fact that they have to spend so much money on like simple things that like Red Bull is paying like really, really cheap for.
Yeah. So
So
crazy.
that's why I'm like, it's just so funny to me when you look at it. Like Williams was such a good car. Like Senna went to Williams.
Yeah.
Um, Damon Hill
Villeneuve.
went to Williams. Like everybody went to Williams because they were winning championships. And now everybody's like, all of us at like with Carlos Sainz, we're like, really? Are you going to Williams?
Okay, for Carlos, I'd love for him to go to a like Mercedes or something, like because they have like for how good they are. But as a Williams girl, I want him to go to Williams. I mean, like
Right?
strategically,
Same,
there's
same.
things where I'm like, so we're back. Sorry guys, there's a little problem with well, not problem, no. The meeting ended. So we
We
had
just
to
don't pay. We don't have the money right now to pay for.
no. But once we start making money with this, we will. It'll be better, I promise.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
So,
we were talking about driver predictions.
let's do our driver market predictions. Okay. So I'm gonna, I'm pulling up a whiteboard and we are
Perfect.
gonna do this. Okay, so so I'm gonna start off with Alexa.
Yes.
Alexa, what are your predictions for
Okay, so I'm gonna do my strategic predictions. Um, I think I'm really unsure. Like for Carlos, I'm not sure if he's gonna go to Ferrari or Williams, but at the same time, with
Ferrari?
not Ferrari, no, not Ferrari. With
What? I'm like,
sorry,
wait a minute. I'll be so happy.
Mercedes, Mercedes or Williams. But with all
Because
the
of
James
Kimi
Vowles talk,
Antonelli.
hmm, sorry,
Because of Kimi Antonelli.
yeah, that's true,
Yes.
actually. Yeah, because they just changed the rules for him.
Oh, yes, guys. So yesterday they changed the rules that now a 17-year-old can get into F1 without a super license. So, I mean,
He just needs to have demonstrated his strengths and all that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Williams.
Williams
I'm gonna
for
say Carlos
Carlos.
Williams.
Okay.
What about you for
Okay,
the
I'm going
Williams
to
seat?
also say exact same thing. I'm going to go Carlos Sainz Williams, because me pressing in that. Okay, I'm gonna say Williams just because honestly, I think Albon and him would be such good teammates. I think the fact of having like Sargent and Albon, what if they've done this season? They've created podcasts. They do podcasts every like time they race. They do James Vowles gets on, does all these like cool things, like they're very hip and they're very in tune with like what we as F1 fans want. We
Mm-hmm.
want them to do a podcast together. We want them to have that. We don't want them to just do silly games the whole time, like every other. Like it's
Yeah.
great that every other team does like, the YouTube, all those little fun
Mm-hmm.
games and whatnot. But a connection with the drivers and like having a podcast, that is it's something we all need one from every team. And I think having a podcast with Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon, being that they have so much experience, that they've both been from Red Bull, they've both now like went to so many other teams. Like, well, Alex Albon was at Red Bull and then went to Williams, and now Carlos Sainz went from Toro Rosso to Renault to McLaren to Ferrari. They have so much experience on their
Yeah.
hands. I think it would be great to see that, and I think it would be great to see um I think they could get so many points together. I think they both will like totally get that car out. I think
Mm-hmm.
both chassis will be totally ruined by the end of the year because they are pushing those things so far. I think it would just I think it'd be good, but honestly, I see people's backlash and I know it's Williams, but what's the other option? Like Stake? No.
For
Haas?
real.
Absolutely not. And
Mm-mm.
Alpine? No, I would not want to see him in an Alpine.
Him
So,
and Pierre would also not.
oh God, anyone in Pierre except
Yeah.
Charles. Like that's
Charles and
it.
Pierre would work.
Because they're friends.
Yeah.
Like that's
Or as Charles would say, he's Monegasque.
yeah.
Honestly,
But
it doesn't even feel like a real country to me. Monaco, like
oh,
I
it's
know
just
it is.
this little like thing with a princess and prince, like a
I know.
king.
Honestly, I love it.
Love it, but also why do you have a national anthem when you like, or you have to live
For
there
real.
with like 500 million dollars or whatever. I forget. Okay,
Next,
so
I
next we'll talk about Ocon. I think Ocon is gonna get a seat next year.
you think he's gonna get a seat?
I think he's gonna get a seat,
Yeah.
but where do we think he's gonna go? Or if you think maybe he's gonna retire and not have a seat, what do you think?
I'm thinking maybe Audi. I don't know.
Audi for 2026?
Oh yeah, 2026. My head Audi was next year. I don't know why,
I know,
but
right? I just need them to come next
I
year.
was honestly, I was talking to my mom for the past month. I've been talking about next year as if it was 2026.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah, right?
I was like, oh yeah, this person could go to Audi, like because it's like a actual car manufacturer. Like it would be
Right?
so much better.
It's because we're so delusional and thinking that we need to have it that Carlos Sainz go somewhere.
Yeah. But Ocon,
I was
I'm
thinking
currently,
Haas. I
yeah, I
was
was
thinking
thinking either
Haas.
well then steak, not Audi or well, I was thinking Audi if it was the car manufacturer, but like now Audi is not in next year. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I was
steak.
probably Haas because he wouldn't match with steak.
No, and also because there's Hulkenberg there right now.
Yeah.
So Hulkenberg got the extension.
Yeah.
They would not work out. Way. I don't think they'll work out. So I think
Wait, Hulkenberg is at Haas though.
he got a
Hulkenberg.
contract extension.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you said Hulkenberg. You said he was at stake.
Yeah, he's going to state.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because I was thinking about the current stake driver, and you said contract extension. So then my mind was like, so he's staying at Haas.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Well, okay, so what do you think? What do you think of all the teams? We still have a okay, so we're weighing out our options, guys, right now. So because Mercedes hasn't signed Kimi Antonelli, there is still a spot. We're not going to say it's completely Kimi Antonelli.
But I think
It's,
it's gonna be
oh, it is, but
because they just changed the rules. Like,
yeah. So right now we have guys, we have Alpine, we have Alpine spot, two spots, I think. Pierre didn't
wait,
sign.
let me check if the spot is open for
Okay, so right now say
possibly next year.
two. We have Aston Martin, both drivers, because we're gonna say Alonso's definitely going in. We have a spot for Williams, but we already took that out right now. So two Alpines, two Haas, one stake, and one Visa Cash app. So
We have two. We had two Alpine seats.
okay, so what do we think? I don't. He's not going back to Alpine. They're done with
I think
him.
he's going to Haas.
I think he's going to Haas too. So let's both write that in here. Oh God.
I'm blanking on his driver number.
31, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, girl, if we write that in.
Do we just do it and we don't care?
I
Just let's just write Esteban
Bestie
Ocon.
Besties number. Oh God.
Is it 31? Wait.
31.
Perfect.
Okay, so Haas. Okay, so I am thinking who is gonna be his teammate, and I am thinking Ollie Behrman is gonna come
Yeah.
in,
I mean,
and
of course.
it's like, come on, like there's no doubt about it. It's gonna happen.
And they've
We're
been pushing the Ollie narrative recently.
yeah, and because also like I don't know what Ollie's number is. We don't know.
Yeah.
Um, Ollie Behrman
Do you think?
number, but
Yeah.
I think we need some new people. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I do love my old besties, but wait, what?
What?
Oh, 38. Oh my God, girl. I think we just I don't know. I think Ollie would be great. I think Ollie can make it up to what let's say Ferrari later. And I feel like he could definitely he shows very good signs of being very good and purpose and just flat out potential. Um, but he could be like the next Charles Leclerc, but we just need to see that. And maybe going to Haas will be a good start, honestly.
Now
But
for RB, Racing Bull.
okay, guys, this is controversial. I know Alexa, you may be mad about this, but I don't think Ricardo should get the seat next year.
Really? I was about to
I
say, I think he's,
I love him to death. I love him to death. I just, for me, I really want to see Lawson in that seat. I
yeah,
really want to see, but
that's
it's so
true.
sad to part ways with him. Like I'm like, can we have one more F1? Can we have one more F1 team, please? Can guy Audi, can you come right now?
Like
Like,
for a while there was 11 teams, right?
yes, there was.
Like, do you
I
think
know.
Daniel is gonna leave or like F1 completely, or is he gonna go to a lower team?
I don't know. I feel like
I'd
he could.
like to see him maybe with Hulkenberg,
I would
but
love to
maybe
see
at the
him
same
with.
time.
I would love to see him with Hulkenberg as well. So that's why I'm saying Lawson to RB. I think Lawson and Sonoda.
Oh yeah,
Perfect. Perfect. Like I think they both complete each other. They're both still childish in their ways. I think it would be great to see that. And I think that even though it could be so like I could be so wrong about this and they're gonna re-sign Ricardo in a few weeks, but for me personally, I just think they should do a Liam Lawson. We
Yeah,
haven't had a New Zealand driver for a while.
true.
He has a lot of backing to him, and
And in
hey,
general, I love him.
doesn't lie. Like what happened last year? He outperformed like Max Verstappen in a
Yeah.
race. Like that
Yeah, I
does a
think,
lot. But
yeah,
I'm gonna, but I think Daniel Ricciardo does have promise.
steak.
Yeah. So let's put it in. Let's do it. Okay. So I, but this is completely different to yours. If you wanted to do a different thing,
No, honestly, like at first I had really, I was like, ooh, I would like to see him with Yuki still. But at the same
I
time,
know.
now that I feel like the content in general, like just from a content marketing perspective, Yuki and Liam would work.
Yeah.
Huckenberg and Danny would work because they're both more experienced drivers. So I definitely, like from a strategic point of view, I think that maybe VCarb want a more young, like a younger look.
And I think they should not miss out on Liam Lawson. They don't, if
No,
Liam Lawson is going to perform, I think it's going to be amazing for them. Like, and with how Yuki is doing right now, you need somebody who is going to perform just the exact same as him. Um, and, but I think Daniel Ricciardo needs to go to,
yeah.
oh, you put in a P for the beef cart.
Okay, this next one might be controversial, guys. I'm thinking, okay, this might be because I'm a Logan Sargent girl. I think he needs another year. They didn't give him enough testing. I know everyone in the comments is going to say he doesn't need another year, but I believe in Logan. I think that he needs to leave Williams because Williams is a toxic environment for him right now. They're too much. We want to be the best team.
Too much
I want to
pressure.
see
Too
Logan
much
at Alpine.
pressure. Alpine. I say that. And also, you know who I think would be great for Alpine?
Who?
I'm sorry for to say it, guys, to people who love Pierre Gasly, but I need Pierre Gasly to be, and I need
Yeah.
Mick Schumacher to come in.
Yes.
Come back
I've
in.
literally been thinking
Please.
this recently.
Like the fact he is right now, he's driving in Le Mans. I think he's doing WEC,
Yeah.
and I think he's doing all these other ones, and he is driving his heart out. And I think, I think it's just so much backing because his dad is freaking like Michael Schumacher. Like he has so much backing to him. He's gonna have so much money to him. Alpine is gonna totally like they're not gonna forget him.
And I'd
I think
love Mick and Logan together.
that would be so good. I think probably Logan just like fangirls over him all the time. So Mick, and I don't know what his number is. Let me
I'm just
look.
gonna put nothing, honestly. No, because I don't respect.
Mick Schumacher,
Honestly, this
47.
okay, perfect. This weekend, I think is a great opportunity for him to prove himself. Like,
Oh yeah, and I was watching a little bit today, just a tiny bit.
mhm,
I'm gonna probably watch the last few, it, but for Le
yeah.
Mans. But honestly, I did watch one of his testing runs. He did a testing run for Alpine,
Hmm.
and that guy can go fast. And I think Haas did not show um his full potential. I do not think it did, and I think it was so toxic there. So I don't know, you know?
I'd love to see like a newer look on the grid as well. Like, I feel like this could give a perfect fresh look.
Yeah.
But
And
wait,
I
are we taking
Joey,
currently Botas and Zhu? Joe, not Zhu.
Joe, I don't know. I don't think Joe's gonna do it. I don't think Joe's gonna make it. I love him to death. Like love his
Me too.
cat. Love his cat Sweet Corn. But I
He
don't
hasn't
think so.
proven himself.
And I think Bottas, I think he himself is ready to retire.
And I was talking with my parents the other day about it, and I was like, Botas, I love him, but he, I feel like it's his time. Like
Yeah.
with Logan, I feel like Botas going out could make Logan give Logan another year
Yeah.
because Botas he's had years. And
Yeah.
I feel like he's maybe just no longer in his prime anymore. maybe his priorities are different. Maybe he could go pursue biking.
Oh, I think he could go in Tour de France. I think I
Like,
would love to see him cycling in France, rather than driving in a really bad car.
yeah, and I feel like, but yeah, I feel honestly, wait, are we covering everything? No, we're missing Kimmy. For me, Kimmy.
Timmy, okay, so this is just it's just gonna be the way it is. They
I
want
mean, they
him.
literally just changed the rules.
They did, but the thing with him is that because of what happened with Max Verstappen back when he first started,
Mhm.
with Toto being like, I want him, and then lucked out. They missed out. It took too long for him to sign him. Red Bull already picked him up, swapped him out, put him into the Toro Rosso, with Carlos Sainz.
Yeah,
And I think Toto's always resented that fact. So they want to pick up Kimi Antonelli before Red Bull does.
yeah,
And there's been so much stuff about that, so much. And I think he does deserve that seat. His testing has been good, but we'll see what happens with him and George. I think
yeah,
honestly, they're gonna put him in that car, and I'm sorry to say it, but I think there's gonna be so much competition. I do not
for
know if
sure.
gonna be, but we have to say it. We're gonna say it, Kimi Antonelli, because we have to. But
And like just with everything going around, I think like it's the most realistic decision, but we'll see what happens.
we'll see it. But honestly, it's I don't know. I think there's gonna be so much competition with George, and I love George. George is my sixth favorite right now because George is just a meme and a half.
Oh yeah. Were you
But
gonna say George is my son?
oh, George is definitely my son. Definitely. I was definitely gonna say that. No,
Honestly,
George,
that's what I thought you were saying.
oh no. He's up there in my favorites right now.
Oh yeah.
But uh, him and Lewis after a bit they got really close. They
Yeah.
even you need somebody who's really competitive. But
Hmm.
as you saw, all-time favorite grouping, Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz worked way too good together, but we're still super competitive with each other. But they were so friendly, so good, still friends on and off the track.
And
But
personality wise, oh no, go ahead.
oh no, keep going. Keep
Personality
talking.
wise, for me, best match, just like off the track, it has to be Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen.
Yes. Also them because they were just so competitive with each other, but they were
Yeah.
so good with each other because
Oh yeah.
it was like
Besties.
a father-son relationship. It was what Max needed, you know? And like with George and Hamilton, like, Russell and Hamilton, they were so sour with each other at the beginning because they made George do some things. I won't get into it, but to cost him his own race, but then give Hamilton some points.
Yeah.
And we won't go into that because I have a huge thing about that. But I, I just think, I don't know. I think any George will get really sour, and I think Kimi Antonelli being like this whole like surprise possession, like this god coming into Mercedes and being like, oh, I'm gonna be the next Hamilton because Toto has this past week has said some, saying like, oh, Kimi Antonelli right now is our number one driver, even though he's not even driving for them.
I
Like,
love Toto, but you gotta take care of your own drivers that
you
are
don't even have
currently
somebody
driving with you.
driving for you, and you're already saying he's a god. You're already saying he's your number one driver. You're already saying, but you have somebody who's literally sitting there and performing, like outperforming a driver who's leaving you right now, who is a seven-time world champion and was your prize possession. But you're going to bring somebody in and still say he's your number one driver. I'm sorry to say it, but there's going to be so much that
Oh yeah.
I feel like Kimmy's going to be like, I'm better than you, George, even though I have only had how many months experience, how many weeks experience, like you've driven in Williams and Mercedes, but I'm still better than you.
I feel like next year will be really interesting because of all the new like teams. If this
Yes.
is real, like if this is the actual, imagine, number one, imagine if our predictions are amazing.
Oh, if they're real, we are
We are
so
in
good.
for a treat.
Yeah. So this is our predictions, guys. You say what you want about it, but honestly, there is some that we maybe have gotten wrong, but I think some are actually completely accurate.
I mean,
So
it's our opinions.
yeah,
Like,
it's our
you're
opinion.
allowed to have your own decisions. If you
Yeah,
think, for example, some drivers that we put here should be like off the grid, that's okay.
that's fine. And we'll take it as grain of salt. These are not, these are not so bad, but
It's just,
all our
it's our
French
opinions.
besties saying Pierre should be back on. I'm sorry to say it, but I think that guy's
I'd like to see him in Le Mans next year, though.
oh, I would love to see Pierre still driving for other things, but
Oh yeah.
I think Pierre needs a year. I think he needs a year. I don't think he I think Ocon outperforms, does way better in a car than Pierre does. And I
Hmm.
think with how much I think there's so much more backing on Ocon because of how much he's relatable. Like
Hmm.
with him being, I saw a thing about him. He was talking a few months ago with people about him coming from rags to riches. He's now
Hmm.
rags to riches. They had to give up so much, so much, so much, so much to become to even be a cart like in karting. And I think that's so relatable. And I think a lot of people will back him. I kind of, after reading a lot about him and whatnot, I kind of was like, I feel so bad for him, even though he does mess up so much in driving. But
Hmm.
I think just there's been so much, he just wants to fight. He just wants to fight. And I think that's what we need in Formula One. I think people don't understand that Formula One, like the new generation, like our generation, we don't understand that Formula One, when we were born, like before we were born,
Hmm.
all fighting. It was
Oh
all
yeah.
fighting. It was competition after competition. Like you got Hunt and Lauda, you got Senna and Prost. Like you got these amazing, amazing drivers, and they fought all the time. That's Formula One. And I don't think people understand that like Pierre Esteban and I don't anybody
Exactly.
else, I don't think anybody else, but I think there is a big thing. Like you also have like Oscar and Carlos. You see them like fighting on track now, but they are so still friendly with each other.
That's what I
Like,
love
yeah.
personally.
What? The whole
I don't know.
like
Personally, like I love when there's like they're able to like take it all like off the track, kind of like we're besties.
yeah, like Prost and Senna, like Prost literally like in every single interview to date after Senna died, cries. Like they had such a huge rivalry, but
Hmm.
they were so close with each other and all this. And it's not, and everybody's like, oh, it's publicity, oh, it's publicity. No, it's not. It's who these people are racing for a world champion that they've wanted since they were a child.
Exactly.
It's
It's
not
their
all for the
dreams.
money. Yeah. It's the money for the teams, but it's for the drivers, it's their dream.
Hmm.
And
I mean,
I
they've been
think,
watching it probably since they were like babies.
yeah, like it's just I think people just don't understand that
Yeah.
Formula One is what Pierre and Esteban were doing. It's what, it's what Daniel Ricciardo and Jacques Villeneuve, like
Hmm.
that whole thing in Montreal, like it's it's fighting, but still being like, still humble on the other side. And
It's
I think,
it's
Pierre just needs a year, and I think
yeah.
Esteban brings out that like Formula One, the classic Formula One that we need. Like, I'd
Honestly,
love to feel the
I'd
same
like
way, but
yeah. Like I'd like to see Pierre back maybe one day.
oh yeah,
If like when Hulkenberg decides to like
retire. Be like,
retire.
I'm done. I can't make any podiums. We're
Yeah.
good.
Oh wait, no. We didn't talk about K-Mag.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna get a spot.
No. Okay.
But that brings us to what I wanted to talk about.
Yes.
Here, I'm gonna close whiteboard. Okay. So Checo and and Magnussen. Uh, so to my people who have a huge thing of like huge love for Checo, if you want to stop listening, you can, because this is gonna be a hate towards Checo here.
not like hate as a person, but just
Oh, not as a person. Checo is like so cute, so
we
sweet,
respect him. We love him.
but we don't respect him on the track.
As like,
Monaco, half his fault. It was half his fault.
yeah.
If you watch the video and you watch the highlight, you can see Magnussen is in the rules, you're supposed to pass. You can overtake, but if it's a safe overtake, that's the only way you can really do it without getting a penalty. And I can't believe there
Yeah.
was not a penalty towards Checo or Kevin for that matter, because you can see Checo not even in a straight line. When he sees that Magnussen is passing, he turns and slits, like he goes a little bit with his car and goes back. Magnussen hits towards him. Like there was tons of space. Everybody's like, "Oh, Monaco, like you can't really over like pass and whatnot." I'm like, Magnussen had no space. Checo had so much space on the other side. It was not just Checo's fault. It was Magnussen's fault. But Checo could have moved over.
Yeah.
Checo had to move over without even crashing that car. So you are gonna say like we're gonna all say, "Oh yeah, Checo deserves that seat." No, he doesn't. He crashed a car kind of on purpose.
And honestly, I feel like if you have a driver like Max Verstappen, you should have a driver that's almost not maybe not as good as Max, but at least that can compete because you have Checo, who's like like it's honestly
He can't even make
we see
Q1.
nowadays we see
He can't
more
even make
McLaren.
Q1.
We get more McLaren in the podium than Checo.
He can't even make Q1. That should be self-explanatory. Two
I
races
don't
in a row,
get
he
why
can't even make two Q1.
I don't really don't understand why they re-signed him.
Why he resigned is because of the millions and millions and millions, now billions of dollars
Yeah.
that are backing him. He is backed by one of the richest guys in Mexico. He is backed by Patreon or whatever he's backed by Kit Kat Mexico. He's backed by so many companies. It's all the
Yeah.
money. Take out the money, Checo would never be in
Oh
Formula
yeah,
One.
no, for sure. Like,
But he can't even. I don't even think Red Bull. If Max Verstappen wins the championship, which could honestly it could be, but it could be also McLaren or for somebody in
yeah.
McLaren or Ferrari. But they are definitely not winning the championship. The Red Bull is not winning the championship because the only person that is carrying the weight is Max. Checo is in fifth in the fastest car.
If you have the fastest car, you should be in the top five.
He is fifth. Like
Top three,
that's
sorry.
so crazy.
Like,
And you're crashing a car deliberately, and then you're just gonna say like, "Oh, but I want to retire with this team." I'm pretty sure but I just and next year I don't think Red Bull will be as strong because of Adrian
no.
Newey. I think this is the last year you can gun it out. And you're just gonna say, hey, like, we'll keep Checo on for this year and we'll keep him on for 2 more years. I don't know. I just I can't believe you don't want to win the championship and you want to keep somebody for the money, even though Red Bull is a company that makes so much money and is
Oh yeah.
backing all X Games, all these like extreme sports, and you still want to think about the money and not the fact you're going to actually lose most of that money because this guy cannot make it into Q1 and crashes out on like the first lap.
Honestly, I feel like I if Lando hadn't wasn't still in contract with McLaren, I love Lando McLaren, but I feel like he would thrive the most with Red Bull's car.
Yes. But maybe next year McLaren's going to be so much faster than Red
Hopefully.
Bull. But honestly, I do love him and Papaya because Zach Brown and him have this amazing,
Oh yeah.
amazing relationship. And we've seen that over the years, but I am not quite sure that Red Bull made the right choice. Actually, I
Yeah.
am quite sure that they didn't make the right choice. They did not make the right choice. And I'm
I was
not
in shock.
also not quite sure about the fact they have the same team principal that has, but we would
Christian
go into that in a
Horner.
different episode. But with all the new regulations and all of that, I just this is Formula One now. It's about the money and it's not about how much you're gonna lose off of the driver. And
It's not the sport, it's the money now.
it's not the sport, it's the money. And it has been that way for a bit, but we see that so much with Checo. And we can, write off maybe like um, you know, Lewis Hamilton coming into, Ferrari. That's a write-off. Like, he makes a lot of money with all the sponsors he
Mhm.
brings, but I think Lewis Hamilton is a seven-time world champion.
Lewis
Like
Hamilton makes sense. Checo
Lewis
doesn't.
Hamilton makes sense. Checo doesn't. When you're crashing out and you're not making make Q1 in the fastest car, Ferrari and Mercedes is not the fastest car.
And
You're
this is just looking at the stats. We're not talking about him as a person. We're talking about the statistics and facts that are shown to us.
he's a great
And like
person. He's
as
so
a
cute.
person, I love him. His vibe,
Yeah,
amazing. Like if I'm looking at just the person, I love him at Red Bull. But if
yeah.
I'm looking at the statistics and how he is, it's just doesn't make sense.
And I know that there is part of Max that also knows that Max, even though they want to keep somebody that won't beat him and whatnot, I think Max knows. I think Max knows, and I don't think Max can't say anything, and I think he just will be he just has to deal with it because it's the way it goes now. It's just
It is.
money and not people crashing out and losing all that money that he's making. It's and I can't believe they're able to um allow the fact of them changing a car and changing an engine within, like, how they had the whole Max, like his something shot out in one of the
Yeah.
FP2, I think, or something, and they
Yeah,
got to change
FP2,
the
and then they
car.
all had like the rubber gloves.
Yeah, they
But
got to change
apparently,
the
I talked to a
car.
girl and she said it's that there was a surcharge.
Really?
Yeah, I talked to a girl actually in the metro going back from FP2, and she's an engineer,
Yeah.
not at Red Bull, but in general. And she was talking about how it was an electrical surcharge that went with the and like something happened with the gas and the electrical surcharge or something like that. So that's why they had the rubber gloves to not get electrocuted.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Well,
why it smelled like smoke.
right. Yes. So guys, it smelled absolutely gross. It smelled like rubber. It
It
smelled
smelled
like
so bad.
I was like, somebody's smoking up right behind me. Nope, nobody is. There was somebody smoking me behind me, but I was like, that's not the smell. It was rubber and the car or something. There was something in the car, but it was
Yeah.
mixing together and did not smell good, guys.
I was
Um,
literally wondering. I was like, oh, is this what? Because if you guys didn't know, this was my first F1 weekend ever, first time to an F1
same
race.
here.
And I was like, is this what F1, is that what F1 races are supposed to smell like? Do we really smell the tires that much? No, it was just Max Verstappen's mishap.
Well, it's the
Yeah.
engineer.
Not
Yeah.
his, but like, I mean, like his
Oh
cars.
yeah, yeah, it was RB's and his cars. And but I just think that's so funny that they could change the car and whatnot and they don't just put in another chassis. But they're allowed to do that. Okay, fine, great. And the fact of him, he also went out, all four tires went out on one of the laps in the race. No
Hmm.
penalty, nothing. Nothing. There was also some other penalty in qualifying, nothing. Um,
That was just,
I was like, oh, so we're paying people now. We are paying the stewards. Are we? Or is that what we're doing now? But you can say that going off on four wheels and actually missing a corner just because a car is catching so much rain and accidentally slips off, but another guy deliberately puts four wheels off the track to cut a corner so he can get a little ground off of another driver. And that's not a penalty, but the other one can be.
or was it, yeah, was it Charles? Yeah, I think it was Charles that went out on a wet tire because FIA hadn't deemed the track wet. Girl, it was pouring.
It was pouring. I could see lightning coming down over on the other
Oh, yeah.
side. I was stressed out for my life.
We were all
But
stressed.
but you literally say, "Hey, that is not okay." But then there's people literally going off of the track and cutting a corner.
That's I mean, it happens in
FIA
every
for yeah.
sport.
The FIA for yeah. It was Christian or you know Toto being like, "No, Mikey, no," but Yeah. So
All
anyways,
right.
that is our podcast for this week.
That was
Or
quite a
today.
podcast, quite an introduction.
Quite an
Um,
or yeah.
I feel like you will be able to see more of these discussions and in-depth, yeah, in-depth discussions about
Yes.
like really specific things because honestly, most of the time we'll share opinions as well because honestly, it feels like we're the same person sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, or if you're listening to this as just an audio, make sure to follow our podcast, download it, to give
Yes.
it five
This will
stars,
be on Apple.
five-star
I'm gonna
rating.
figure out how to put it on Apple Podcasts here. I know a way, so we'll be putting it on soon enough.
Oh yeah,
Um, and also, guys, this is F1 Girls. We talk like this and we don't like the drivers just for the drivers. So we love the stats, and there you go, guys. This
I
is what you
know.
can tell everybody.
And we'll try to figure things out. We might be creating a TikTok or whatever to post clips. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see what we can do.
But we'll update you guys as we go.
Yep.
And yeah, so
Thank you for
that was
listening, and have a great rest of your day, guys.
be sure to check in next time that we upload.
Yep.
Bye.